Hey, what's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno, and it's F-150 time. We have a 24 F-150 on the dyno that our buddy Eric dropped off. He's already done a lot of looks mods to it. It's lowered, wheels, and everything. But otherwise, it is stock. And not only are we tuning this for you today, we're gonna do flex tune on it, and there's an all new cold air kit out for these from Whipple, and we're gonna install that at the very end and see what that makes after it's all tuned up. First up, let's get a baseline. All right, we're all set up in the truck, ready for the baseline now. Keep in mind that these trucks, the way they're geared and the speed limiter and everything, we're gonna do the pulls in 4th gear. So the numbers are gonna seem way low, but as we progress and once our tune's on it, we'll do 4th gear so you can compare it, but we'll also do a higher gear pull, so then that way you can really see what's going on. I went ahead and did a pull in 4th and 5th, even though I knew 5th gear, it wouldn't pull all the way out, just to kind of show you the difference in the gears. So in 4th gear, it made 343 and 357, but it only revved to, 6,300 RPM. Then when I did the pull in 4th gear, it revved all the way out and 336 and 338. Now, we'll go ahead and use 4th gear as our baseline moving forward because that's the only way to do it fairly. And then once we figure out our gains, we'll probably switch to 5th gear as we do the other modifications like the flex fuel tuning. But to start, we're gonna do our comparisons in 4th gear, and I'll explain it as we go. Anyway, let's do the important stuff, load the tune, and see how much power it picks up. Well, we got the PBD tune all loaded up. I'm not gonna show you guys every single pull. In fact, we're gonna go through this fairly quickly. Because it's a naturally aspirated vehicle, there's not that much to cover. What's more important is the flex fuel that's coming and then the Whipple cold air kit. So let's see what we got here. Very nice. All right, there you go, 350 and 365. So not a tremendous amount peak. We're up 14 horsepower, but the big gains are all the way down here, and this is where we really want it, especially on a truck. Of course, this is a regular cab truck. It's not as heavy, but still, it's a bit heavy, heavier than a Mustang, for instance. So we've got huge torque gains down here. I mean, you can see here, even at peak, which is all the way at 4,200, which is right here, we're up almost 30 torque. But if you come down here, like for instance, at 3,700 RPM, it went from 276 torque to 332. That's a lot of torque. So that's a great improvement. Now we're gonna start feeding it some ethanol. These are flex fuel tunes. When the 24 got introduced, Ford does not have this as a flex fuel vehicle, but it's very easy for us to enable in the tune, one of the many benefits of the tune. For those of you guys that are new to tuning, we do way more than what you see here. We're doing all sorts of transmission stuff, firmer shifts, better shift points, cleaner shifts, shift schedules, high RPM shifts, tons and tons of things that you're never gonna see on the dyno. So, let's start feeding it some ethanol and see how much power it makes. This is where we start really making some nice gains. Tune changes are loaded, and we're gonna see what that did for us. All right. Definitely liking that. Okay, this is probably about E30-ish. We're just working our way up. Pretty much once you get up into the 50 to 55 range on an application like this, there's probably not many gains, so that's as high as we will go. Obviously, we can't get to full E85 because there's just 93 in the tank, so they'll never get there unless we were to add straight ethanol, which we don't have. So 355, another 5 horsepower. even more torque, but there's gains in other parts of the curve. If you look right here, say at 56 over the 93 tune, it's up 13 horsepower. So again, I've said this in just about every video I've done lately. Don't always look at the peak gains. You have to look at the curve. Let's put some more ethanol on this thing, get it over 50%, and then that should be our final number. And don't forget, we're putting the Whipple cold air on this setup, which is really, really cool. Anyway, let's get to it. Ready for another pull on the flex tune. We're at about, let's see, about 58%. $364, $382. This is on E50, 55, right around there. Awesome gains if you look at them over stock. So we're up almost 30 horsepower. What is that? 44 foot-pounds of torque. Huge gains down here. I mean, look at this. Right here, you're talking 275 to 350. 75 on the torque. That is crazy. Now, we're gonna go ahead. I did a pull in fifth gear as well. So fifth gear, it's not a huge difference, but the numbers are, you know, making more and more sense. Same exact tune, right? So 364, 382, 374, 395 in fifth gear. Now we're gonna go ahead and bolt on that Whipple cold air kit and see what this unit does. If you don't notice, this cold air kit is based off of the supercharged F-150 air box, and it just has a different tube. So obviously this thing will flow. I have it on my truck. It'll flow, you know, 800, 900, 1,000 horsepower, no problem. So for an NA vehicle, it is awesome. Let's get that installed. This looks like it's going to be a fairly simple deal. In fact, I already started working ahead, and the hardest part is getting these two pins out. So I didn't want you to see 10 minutes of that. Pretty much it looks like you've got one clamp right on the throttle body. And then we've got one bolt over here that holds the air box in. All right, you have the one connection back here for the crankcase ventilation. And that's it, came out in one piece. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is just go ahead and install the new air box. There's some pins under here that just make sure it sits down in the right spot, and then everything will be great. If you don't put them on the pins, then nothing is supporting it. All right, there we go. Let's just go ahead and put the, where did I put those pins? Right here. When you're putting in this fitting, it's probably easiest to reach inside, and that's why it's a good idea to do this before you put it on. And you can be sure that the grommet is not getting pushed through. Obviously, you want to make sure you got a good seal there. All right, that looks pretty good. Whew, it is hot in here. This goes like this. And then of course it's got to go back under this coolant line. Let's see the best way. So that does make it a little bit tricky as you're putting it on, but probably not a huge deal. All right, man, it is so hot in here. I cannot believe how hot it is. Let's see what this cold air can do. That's a nice game. I went ahead and these are all 5th gear pulls. Now, of course, the stock baseline was not all the way up on RPM. Nothing I can do about that, but I think it's better to compare these in 5th gear. We went from 374 and 395. The cold air kit went up to 388 and 409. That's very impressive gains for this setup. Of course, you know, cold air intake, it's 97 something degrees in here. It's insane. So there's no cold air going into this motor, but it helps the flow. So if you want this cold air kit, it's up on Whipple's site. It's up on Palm Beach Dyno's site. You can order it today. This is a brand new unit. This is the very first one outside of Whipple, but Whipple does that a lot. We test all kinds of things for them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like it, share it with your friends. And if you need a tune, make sure you call Palm Beach Dyno, 561-571-1173, or even better yet, hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. We fully support social media messaging and you'll get a quick answer guaranteed. We'll see you on the next one.